So picture this. It's 2008.
Okay.
And one of the most successful, pioneering hip-hop artists on the planet is getting ready to drop a highly anticipated solo rap album.
Right. The pressure is on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how does he prepare? Well, he decides the absolute best use of his time is to direct a ballet.
Which is just wild to think about.
I mean, a full theatrical production. We're talking tutus, ballerinas gracefully leaping across the stage.
Yeah.
But all of it set to a live funk band and the chest-rattling boom of an 808 drum machine.
It's arguably one of the most unexpected pivots in modern music history.
For sure.
And, what makes it so incredible is that this wasn't a joke or some PR stunt. It was a deeply serious artistic statement.
Yeah, from a musician who realized his vision had completely outgrown the standard industry assembly line.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've got a massive stack of sources today detailing a real modern music industry legend.
A total showdown.
Right. Our mission for this deep dive, and we're taking you along for the ride here, is to explore what happens when an unstoppable creative force meets an unyielding, terrified corporate machine.
It gets messy.
Very. We are going to figure out how Big Boi, one half of the legendary hip-hop duo Outkast, fought tooth and nail for his artistic integrity.
And ultimately delivered an undisputed genre-bending classic.
Yes. His 2010 solo debut album, Sir Lucius Left Foot, the son of Chico Dusty.
What's fascinating here is that this isn't just a story about a rapper going into a studio and making some beats.
No, not at all.
It is a profound look at the clash between commercial expectations, basically what a data-driven record label thinks the public wants, and genuine artistic maturity.
Right.
It's about an artist who just flat out refused to regress or copy a trend just to make a quick buck for a corporation.
Exactly. But to really understand the stakes of this battle, we have to look at where Big Boi was, mentally and professionally, post-2006.
That's a crucial year.
Yeah, because Outkast had just released their Prohibition-era movie Idlewild.
Right. And the accompanying soundtrack album.
Right. And the reception from both critics and audiences was, well, it was lukewarm.
Which was completely uncharted territory for them.
Yeah, they weren't used to that.
Not at all. Up until that point, from the early 90s all the way through the massive diamond-selling success of Speaker Box X to The Love Below, I mean, almost everything Outkast touched turned to gold.
They literally defined the sound of the South.
They did. So amid all these swirling tabloid rumors that they were breaking up, Big Boi and Andre 3000 announced they were just going on a hiatus as a duo.
Just taking a break.
Yeah, the plan was totally logical to them. Focus on their solo careers, release their albums separately, and then eventually reconvene.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Right.
But their label, Jive Records, which had recently absorbed their original label, Arista Jive, was having absolutely none of it.
Oh, they hated the idea.
Yeah, Jive was putting massive pressure on them to just scrap the solo ambitions, get back in the studio together, and churn out another Outkast album.
Because Jive was looking purely at the bottom line.
Always the bottom line.
You have to remember, Outkast as a brand was a proven global commodity.
Right.
Solo albums, even from the individual genius members of Outkast, were perceived as a massive financial risk by a major label. They didn't want Big Boi. They wanted the Outkast machine.
It's kind of like having a legendary star athlete on your basketball team, right?
Okay, yeah.
And the coach is practically screaming from the sidelines to just run the exact same pick-and-roll play that won the championship last year. Just run the play.
Yes.
But instead, that star athlete decides, actually, no, I'm going to go do avant-garde theater for a while.
That is a brilliant way to frame it, especially considering what Big Boi actually did during this hiatus.
Right?
Because he completely refused to bend to Jive's demands. He started acting.
He was in ATL, right?
Yeah, taking a supporting role as a drug dealer in ATL and then a lead role in the comedy Who's Your Caddy?
Oh, yeah.
But his creative hunger was pushing him even further outside the box.
Which brings us back to that wild image from the beginning of our deep dive. The ballet.
Right, the ballet.
I mean, how did that even happen?
In 2007, he was approached by John McFall, who was the artistic director of the Atlanta Ballet.
Okay.
And they collaborated on a massive production in 2008 simply titled Big. And Big Boi wasn't just, slapping his name on the poster as a figurehead.
He was actually involved.
Heavily involved. He was the creative director. He recruited the live band members from his Purple Ribbon label. He developed the overarching storyline.
Wow.
And he worked intimately with the choreographer, Laurie Stallings.
The imagery described in the sources we went through is just incredible. You have guest vocal performances by Janelle Monáe and Sleepy Brown.
Right.
You have these complex, syncopated dance sequences where classically trained ballerinas are dancing to massive Outkast
They
hits.
mused up too?
Exactly, alongside brand new, highly experimental tracks that Big Boi was actively developing for this solo album.
Yeah.
It ran for 6 performances at the Fox Theater in Atlanta and generated amazing buzz.
And, that ballet detour is absolutely crucial to understanding the album we're digging into today.
How so?
Well, it proves just how expansive Big Boi's creative vision had become. He wasn't thinking about standard 3-minute radio singles anymore.
He was thinking bigger.
Much bigger. He was thinking about grand theatricality, live instrumentation, total cross-genre collaboration.
But I'm guessing it was exactly this out-of-the-box, highly theatrical thinking that put him on a direct collision course with Jive Records.
Oh, 100%.
Because Jive wasn't in the business of selling ballets. They wanted a standard, easily digestible rap album. Which brings us to the breaking point.
The ultimatum.
Yes, the label gives Big Boi an ultimatum. And reading this in the sources, I mean, the audacity is just staggering.
It really is.
They essentially tell Big Boi to go into the studio and make his own version of Lil Wayne's massive auto-tune heavy hit song, Lollipop.
They wanted a replica. Literally a carbon copy of what was already working for someone else.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me a major label looked at an established, genre-defining pioneer,
Yeah.
a guy who practically invented the sound of modern Southern hip-hop, and told him to just bite another MC's style?
That's exactly what happened.
How does that make any economic or artistic sense at all?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of the music industry around, say, 2008 to 2010, it makes perfect, terrifying sense from a corporate perspective.
Okay, explain that to me.
This was the peak of the ringtone rap era.
Mm-hmm.
Piracy, the lingering hangover from Napster and LimeWire, was still just cannibalizing physical album sales.
Right, nobody was buying CDs anymore.
Exactly. Major labels were absolutely terrified. Because they were losing so much money, they became entirely risk-averse and hyper-focused on data.
So they just wanted a sure thing.
Yes. Lollipop was a proven, data-driven smash hit that sold millions of ringtones and digital downloads.
I see. So they didn't care about pushing the genre forward.
Not at all.
They just wanted the algorithm that produced cash right that second.
It's exactly. Big Boi explicitly stated that he viewed his upcoming album as a piece of art.
Naturally.
But the label viewed music purely as an algorithm for radio-friendly hits. They felt his intended singles were too complex, too weird, just not commercial enough.
They literally didn't know how to market art.
Right. They only knew how to market current trends.
Well, Big Boi saw this as the highest form of disrespect. I mean, he literally said to them, how are you going to tell me to go bite another MC's style?
Yeah, he was furious.
So he defies them entirely. He takes his music, specifically a wildly funky track called Foyo Sorrows.
Great track.
So good. And he flies to Los Angeles to play it for L.A. Reid over at Island Def Jam.
Now, for some context for you listening, L.A. Reid is the legendary executive who originally signed Outkast to LaFace Records way back in 1992.
Right, back when they were just teenagers.
Yeah. And Reid, being an actual music guy and not just a spreadsheet guy, he immediately gets it.
He hears the vision.
Exactly. So after 2 months of intense legal negotiations, Big Boi officially leaves Jive and signs a fresh 3-album deal with Def Jam in March 2010.
But Jive allowed him to leave, right? Like, it sounds like a clean break.
Well, they allowed him to leave as a solo artist, yes,
Yeah.
but they definitely weren't going to make it easy.
Oh, well, of course not.
Because while Big Boi left, Outkast as a group was still contractually bound to Jive.
Oh, wow. So Jive retaliates. The sources outline this perfectly. Jive blocks Big Boi's partner, Andre 3000, from appearing anywhere on the new Def Jam release.
Yep.
They essentially claim that if Def Jam issues any songs featuring both Big Boi and Andre 3000, that legally constitutes a new Outkast record.
Which Jive owns.
Right.
It is a classic, brutal corporate blockade. They were basically trying to strangle Big Boi's project in the crib by legally removing its most highly anticipated feature.
The reunion of the Outkast members.
Exactly.
But Big Boi's response to this blockade is just brilliant.
Oh, it's so good.
It is the ultimate modern rebellion. When reporters asked him about Jive blocking the tracks, Big Boi basically just laughed it off.
He didn't care at all.
No. He says, and I quote, "The fans' thirst will be quenched. I'm no stranger to that internet, baby."
Classic.
And then he just leaks the blocked tracks himself. Songs featuring Andre 3000 like royal flush and looking for ya, suddenly just mysteriously find their way onto the internet.
He completely bypasses the corporate gatekeepers. And you have to understand the mechanics of this in 2010.
Right, it was different back then.
Yeah, leaking a track meant giving it to high-profile music blogs and letting peer-to-peer file sharing do the rest.
It was a whole ecosystem.
And right before the album's official release, he even dropped a free download called Mixtape for Dummies, Guide to Global Greatness, right on his own website.
Just to build grassroots hype.
Exactly. Anti-piracy companies at the time estimated his leaked tracks were being illegally downloaded 45,000 times a day.
Which is an incredible metric of success when you're actively trying to subvert your old boss.
Oh, definitely.
But here's the thing. To back up this massive level of rebellion, to essentially declare open war on your former label and leak your own music, you can't just release an okay album.
No, the stakes are way too high.
Right. You can't just drop something mediocre, or the label looks completely justified in dropping you.
Yeah.
Big Boi had to retreat to his fortress and craft something undeniably brilliant.
And that fortress was Stankonia Recording Studio in Atlanta.
Yes. Picture yourself walking into Stankonia on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Oh, yeah.
According to the sources, Big Boi always starts working on new albums on MLK Day. He considers it a powerful good luck charm.
And the vibe inside that studio?
Yes, set the scene.
He described it as comfortable, but intensely gritty. They had candles burning everywhere, deep red lights, crunk juice flowing, cigars.
Wow.
He said the whole environment was meticulously designed to get you in a state of mind of being raw and ready to kill stuff.
And you can absolutely hear that primal, raw environment in the sonic architecture of the album.
For sure.
It is a state-of-the-art Southern fried party funk record. It's heavily rooted in the Roland TR 808 drum machine.
And for anyone not entirely familiar, the 808 isn't just a standard drum sound.
No, it's way more than that.
It produces this incredibly deep subsonic bass frequency that literally vibrates your chest cavity.
But he didn't stop at the 808. Big Boi and his producers, including Sleepy Brown and the legendary Organized Noise, they built these incredibly dense, complex layers on top of that bass.
Yeah, it's so layered.
They incorporated live horn sections, guitars, rock, soul, and even early elements of dubstep.
Which in 2010 was just starting to bring its aggressive, wobbly electronic bass lines into the mainstream.
It is a totally musically omnivorous album.
Big Boi himself described the voluminous production of this album as feeling like someone's pushing you around the room.
I love that description.
Right. It's a massive physical sound. You don't just hear it through your headphones. It physically moves you.
But, you know, a massive beat can easily drown out a rapper. To anchor a sound that big, you need a vocal performance that can slice right through the noise. And this is where Big Boi's technical mastery really shines.
Oh, absolutely.
He doesn't just rap casually over the beat. The critics in our sources noted that he uses this relentless double-time flow almost regardless of the actual tempo of the track.
Exactly. To break that down mechanically, if the actual beat of the song is walking at a leisurely pace of, say, 70 beats per minute, Big Boi is vocally sprinting over it at 140 beats per minute.
He's packing twice as many syllables into the measure.
Yeah. The New Yorker's Sasha Frere Jones compared Big Boi's flow to the mechanical clatter of a lawnmower.
A lawnmower.
Yeah, like he puts this whispering secondary rhythm underneath the main beat.
It's like trying to thread a needle while riding in a monster truck.
That's a great way to put it.
You have this massive, booming, chaotic vehicle of a beat, and yet his vocal delivery is this precise, rapid-fire, intricate instrument.
It never sounds laid back.
Never. He is wide awake, filling every single microscopic pocket of space.
And lyrically, he's balancing completely opposing forces while he's sprinting.
How do you mean?
Well, Sarah Rodman from the Boston Globe called it rhyming about things frivolous and fraught.
Okay.
In one breath, he's boasting, talking about sex, cars, and the club. And in the very next breath, he's dropping serious social commentary, political critiques, or even offering genuine advice on fiscal responsibility.
Fiscal responsibility on a rap track.
Right. He plays the role of the mischievous trickster and the wise elder statesman at the exact same time.
So Big Boi creates this defiant, gritty bunker at Stankonia armed with rapid-fire delivery and massive 808s. But I mean, a bunker mentality doesn't automatically equal good music.
No, it could just be a mess.
Right. To prove Jive wrong, the actual sonic architecture of the individual songs had to be flawless. Let's look at how that actually manifested in the tracks, starting with the lead single, Shutterbug.
Oh, Shutterbug is the perfect showcase of his creative process.
Tell us about it.
So the producer, Scott Storch, initially brought him a preliminary, fairly standard hip-hop beat. Now, a lesser artist, or someone rushing to meet a label deadline, might have just rapped over it and called it a day.
But Big Boi didn't do that.
No. Big Boi said he brought in his own live band, guitar players, keyboard players, and someone on a talk box.
Oh man, a talk box. And for those listening who might be wondering, a talk box is that device where a musician has a plastic tube in their mouth.
Yeah.
And they shape the sound of a synthesizer with their vocal cords to create that robotic singing voice. Think Daft Punk or Roger Troutman.
Exactly.
Big Boi said he and the band just pissed on the original beat.
That's his phrase.
Yeah. They injected it with incredibly heavy P-Funk elements, that woozy, spacey, bass-heavy style pioneered by Parliament Funkadelic.
And they transformed it into this jittery, robotic electro-hop anthem.
It is brilliant.
It really is. And then there's a track like Tangerine featuring the rapper T.I. The sources describe the subject matter as a blunt, straightforward strip club anthem. But musically, the mechanics of the song are wildly sophisticated.
Like, deceptively complex.
Exactly. It features exotic Afro-poly rhythms, meaning multiple, contrasting rhythms are playing at the exact same time, fighting and harmonizing with each other.
Add in the booming bass and these slow, reverbing grunge rock guitars. I mean, one critic perfectly described it as sounding like the famous Western film composer Ennio Morricone mashed up with Funkadelic.
Which is insane.
You do not hear those two musical ideas put together very often, let alone on a strip club anthem.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to the wild, almost chaotic variety of guest stars he brought into Stankonia.
Who else was there?
Well, he even attempted to get the legendary English avant-pop singer-songwriter Kate Bush on the album.
Kate Bush! That would have been amazing!
Unfortunately, the timing didn't work out. But he did manage to get George Clinton.
The absolute architect and pioneer of P-Funk.
Yes. For the track For Yo Sorrows. Big Boi compared working with Clinton to Dorothy finally going to see The Wizard of Oz, getting beamed down this extraterrestrial funk.
I love that. I also really love the detail from the sources about the up-and-coming rapper Yelawolf.
Oh, that story's great.
Yeah, so Big Boi invited him to collaborate, and Yelawolf was so incredibly excited to be working with an Outkast legend that he wrote a massive 64-bar verse and turned it in.
And to put that in perspective for you, a standard rap verse is usually 16 bars.
Right.
Yelawolf essentially wrote a short novel.
He really did. Big Boi had to heavily chop it down just to make it fit into the track. You ain't no DJ.
Yeah, he had edited him down.
But amid all this serious, dense musicality, the album is also just incredibly funny.
Right. We have to talk about the skits.
We do.
Skits are deeply integrated into the history and culture of Southern hip-hop albums. They act as palate cleansers. And Big Boi uses them here to inject this playful, almost absurd irreverence into the massive soundscapes.
My favorite detail is the skit at the end of the marching band heavy track, General Patton.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it features a guy named Dax Redneck describing a fictional, completely absurd sex maneuver called the David Blaine.
The David Blaine.
Right. We won't go into the explicit mechanics of it here, but when an interviewer later asked Big Boi if he was taking credit for inventing this ridiculous maneuver, Big Boi just laughed and confidently said, "Yeah, man, they do it now."
It's that exact mix of grand ambition and total silliness that ties perfectly back to the album's title, which we really should decode.
Oh, definitely. Sir Lucius Left Foot, the son of Chico Dusty.
It's a mouthful.
It sounds massive, almost like a regal royal decree, but every word of it is actually deeply personal.
Right.
I can puzzle out some of this. So, Sir Lucius is his Jedi mastery, him claiming his crown as a solo artist.
Exactly.
And Big Boi explained that the left foot part references the old Southern slang phrase, get on the good foot, stepping out with your best effort. But what about Chico Dusty? That sounds like a completely different vibe, like a gritty 1970s street moniker. Where does that half of the equation come from?
You're right on the money with the vibe. Chico Dusty is actually a tribute to his late father, Tony Kearse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was his father's actual nickname while he was serving as a fighter pilot in the Air Force and the Marines.
That is so cool.
So the title is this beautiful duality. It honors his deep family roots while simultaneously claiming his current, undeniable mastery of the rap genre.
It fits perfectly.
And, just as a quick but very fun point of clarification from the source's Big Boi, is adamant that Lucius is pronounced Lucius, Not luscious, like voluptuous.
Just got it.
Good to get that right on the record.
Okay, so let's look at the board here. We have this deeply personal, wildly experimental album full of talk boxes, polyrhythms, and 808s.
Yeah.
An album that Jive Records, this massive corporate entity, thought was an unmarketable disaster.
They really thought it would flop.
They thought it was too weird, too dense, and demanded a Lil Wayne clone instead.
Yeah.
Right.
So the big question for you, the listener, as this showdown comes to an end, is did the public and the critics actually buy into this piece of art? Was Jive Records right to be terrified?
Well, the short answer is Jive was completely, spectacularly, historically wrong.
I love to hear it.
The reception wasn't just good, it was a true cultural moment.
The stats here are the ultimate punchline to the label's hubris. Jive thought it wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
Instead, the album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 chart,
Wow.
moving 62,000 copies in its very first week in the U.S. alone. And critically, it received a score of 90 on Metacritic.
Which indicates universal acclaim.
Exactly. Places like Pitchfork, Time Magazine, and Rolling Stone didn't just give it polite reviews. They put it on their lists for the best albums of the entire year.
And later, they even named it one of the best albums of the entire decade.
And the marketing around it ended up being brilliant precisely because it wasn't a standard cookie-cutter rollout dictated by a spreadsheet.
Yeah, tell them about the shoes. Converse even partnered with Big Boi to produce a limited edition run of Chuck Taylor All-Stars. The shoes had the album title printed right around the heel.
That is so smart.
Imagine that the label said no one would understand the vision, and instead, kids are walking down the street with Sir Lucius' left foot literally on their heels.
Big Boi didn't just win the artistic battle, he won the commercial war, too.
It's the ultimate vindication. You have this artist who was told his vision wasn't good enough, that he needed to shrink himself down to sound like someone else just to appease a panicked boardroom.
Yeah.
And his response was to retreat to his studio, trust his own mastery, trust that his audience was smart enough to follow him, and physically force the industry to catch up to his sound.
He didn't blink.
Never. The takeaway here is that true artistry isn't just about having good ideas. Sometimes it requires fiercely defending your vision, even if that means walking away from a major corporate machine and building a new path yourself.
This raises an important question, though, especially when we consider the legacy of how Big Boi used the internet to bypass Jive's blockade and leak his own tracks.
So it's that.
Well, it makes you wonder, now that the internet has made distribution practically free, the modern artist doesn't really need a major label's money just to release a song to the public.
Right. Anyone can upload a track.
Exactly. But looking at Big Boi retreating to Stankonia, bringing in live horn sections, talk boxes, and building these massive, complex sonic architectures, do artists today still need a label's money to actually make a masterpiece?
Wow. That is exactly what we want you to mull over. The distribution might be free, but creating a world like Stankonia certainly isn't.
Nope.
Because when you throw a relentlessly creative human into a perfectly predictable machine, well, the machine doesn't always win.
Definitely not.
Sometimes the artist just dismantles the machine from the inside out and rewrites the algorithm themselves.
Couldn't have said it better.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Keep questioning the assembly line.